He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, says the Spirit of God. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 6 and 9 through 12 and 14. And this book is a spiritual book, and we must understand it spiritually and not carnally or fleshly. The things that we see are perceived that we see, but we must understand through the wisdom that's given and the precepts that give us the light to understand the words. The spiritual words are the foundation of this book. Howbeit, we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, because the wisdom of this world is fleshly, is carnal, and it will not profit you when dealing with scripture and dealing with the spiritual realm or the spiritual knowledge of this book of our remembrance unto Israel, because that's the goal that we're trying to reach, to become back, to go back unto Israel, to learn his knowledge, to live peaceably under his wings, under Jehovah, under his guidance, under his tutelage. But we can't do that if we're still carnally minded. So, howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. Verse 9. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, understanding have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of men, because the hearts of men are evil and wicked, and spirit of wisdom can't dwell in a body that's defiled with wickedness. The things which Jehovah hath prepared for them that promise him. So the things which Yahweh hath prepared is eternal life in the ways of righteousness to his servants, his sons, those that make the covenant and circumcise that heart of flesh and become one in the spirit of that covenant of through that covenant of promise. But they will not be able to perceive that. They will not be able to understand that while you in the mind state of as a man. We must conform to this word and renew our minds in the spirit. Then we'll be able to see what Jehovah has prepared for us. Verse 10, but Yahweh hath revealed them unto us by his spirit, which is Jehovah. For the spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of Yahweh. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save only the spirit of man which is in him? Even so the things of Yahweh knoweth no man but the spirit of Yahweh, of Jehovah. Now, verse 12, now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of Yahweh, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Yahweh, which is his word. Verse 14, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the spirit of Yahweh, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. And we don't want to be caught on that side of the plumb line, where we're not understanding, we're not discerning good between good and evil. We just eating anything, we're learning anything upon this earth which the natural man does. Whatever is pleasing to their eyes, they're going to feed upon it. They're going to learn upon it, from it. Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, verse 4 through 10, 21, 23, 27 through 28, and 30. Wisdom hath been created before all things, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting. The word of Yahweh Most High is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments. To whom have the roots of wisdom been revealed, or who hath known her wise counsels? And that can go be precepted with Isaiah Isaiah 28, 9 and 10. Well, verse 9, because it says, to whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed, or who hath known her wise counsels? Unto whom hath the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who hath understood her great experience? Verse Isaiah 28 and 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? And this is the answer: them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So that's who the root of wisdom has been revealed to. Those that are incarnately minded and have circumcised their flesh and are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. Verse 8, there is one wise and greatly to be desired, to be feared, the Creator sitting upon his throne. He created her and saw her and numbered her and poured her out upon all his works. She is with all flesh according to his gift, and he hath given her to them that love him. So it's a gift that is given, freely received, freely you give, and not like the fleshly man, the natural man that will make you pay. They bring you into their hellholes and buildings and make you pay for something that is free. And they also make you pay for a lie because they're not giving you the truth. So you're paying for their service and their entertainment instead of being getting the knowledge and having the root of wisdom revealed to you. Verse 12, the fear, the desire of the Lord, of the Creator, driveth away sins, and where it is present, it turneth away wrath, because the wrath is kindled upon all flesh. So we must have that desire of the spirit and not the desire of the flesh, which will drive away the sins in our imaginations, our vain imaginations and thoughts, wicked thoughts of the heart. Verse 23, a patient man will tear for a time, and afterwards joy shall spring up into him. 27, for the fear, the desire of the Creator is wisdom and instruction, and faith and meekness are his delight. Distrust not the fear, the desire of the Creator when thou art poor. When thou art poor, when you are lacking in knowledge, when you're desolate of the truth, and come not unto him with a double heart. So we can't serve two masters. We gonna either come with him with our whole heart, or we can't come at all. Verse 30, exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And this is what the flesh will do if you come with that double heart. You're going to get that knowledge, and then you're going to puff up. The flesh is going to puff up itself because you didn't come with a whole heart, willing to serve and be humble to the word of Jehovah. Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And so Yahweh discover thy secrets and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation, because thou comest not in truth to the fear, to the desire of the Creator, but thy heart, your mind and your heart, your thoughts is full of deceit. James chapter 1, verse 12, 14 through 18, and 21 through 22. And while on this journey of life, we must refrain and abstain from flesh and doctrines of men that men have served us, but we must get full of the manna, that spiritual meat, that spiritual doctrine that comes down from heaven. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Creator hath promised to them that love him. Verse 14, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Because that's that flesh. You will still have that double heart, that double mind. So you was tempted and you fell when he is drawn away of his own lust. You're going to be drawn into that pit. The blind is going to lead the blind into that pit, and you're going to fall. You're going to be enticed. You're going to, after that lust of your own mind. Verse 15, then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, the Father of understanding, the Father of wisdom, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Of his own will begot he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his of his creatures, made in his image, bearing the fruits, the works of the spirit, and not the works of the flesh. Wherefore lay apart, verse 21, I'm sorry. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness in the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. Verse 22, but be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. Wisdom of Solomon 18:15. And let's see that like he said in verse 17 of James chapter 1, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights. Wisdom of Solomon 18:15. Thine almighty word leap down from heaven out of thy royal throne as a fierce man of war in the midst of a land of destruction. Because we are all destroyed, because we don't have that knowledge if that almighty word is not in us. So he sent word to come save our souls, that engrafted word. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 12. Seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands, with the works of your powers. So the works of flesh, because the flesh is desolate, it has no knowledge, it has no wisdom. So we are destroyed for that lack of knowledge on how to live without error, how to live in the spirit, which will endure us and save us in the end. It will endure our souls. So let's go to additions to Esther, chapter 5, verse 1, 3 through 10, 13 through 14, and 18 through 19. Let's see who we must lean to while in distress and trouble, these troubles of the flesh. Queen Queen Esther, also being in fear of death, resorted unto the Creator, not unto the flesh. She didn't resort unto Jesus the man. She resorted unto the Creator, that source of salvation. Verse 3, and she prayed unto the Creator, thy guide of Israel, saying, O my Creator, thou only art the perfection and beauty, our King. Help me, desolate woman, which have no helper but thee. For my danger is in mine hand. Just like it says, seek not death in the air of your life, and pull not upon yourself destruction with the works of your hands. So we all have that power of destruction in our hands. That's why we must wash our hands with the word, so we can be clean and walk hand in hand with the Spirit and be guided by that Spirit. From my youth up, I have heard in the tribe of my family that thou, O Creator, tookest Israel from among all people, and our fathers from all their predecessors, for a perpetual inheritance, a separation of, and the giving of that word, that knowledge, that holy tongue. And thou hast performed whatsoever thou didst promise them. And now we have sinned before thee in the presence of thee. Therefore hast thou given us into the hands, into the powers of our enemies, because we worship their gods, their idols. And that's that's how we sought that's how we sought after death in the era of our life, and pulled destruction upon us with the works of our hands, because we worship their idols instead of worshiping the one and true creator of salvation. O Creator, thou art the perfection and beauty, is righteous. Nevertheless, it satisfieth them not that we are in bitter captivity, but they have stricken hands with their idols, that they will abolish the thing that thou with thy mouth hast ordained, and destroy thine inheritance, and stop the mouth of them that praise thee, and quench the glory of thy house and of thine altar. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. So now let's just keep going. I was gonna pull something else, but never mind. Verse 10, and open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praises, set forth the confessions of the idols, and to magnify a fleshly king forever. All right, so I'm gonna pull it now. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 15, chapter 15, verse 50. And that fleshly king that the heathen set forth to praise of the idols is a man they call Jesus. But we know it's not the prophet that we learn from, which had the promise of Jehovah in him to teach. But they say Jesus, the man, the fleshly, is a fleshly king forever in those church buildings. But we know that 1 Corinthians 15:50, now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. And we know all flesh is corrupted. So he's not our king. He was a prophet. And that's how that they will abolish the thing that with thy mouth has ordained and destroy thine inheritance. They're destroying thine inheritance with these false accusations, these false doctrines of men, of flesh, given fleshly kings when he ordained that he was our king from the beginning, not a fleshly man, but the spirit is who we seek after, we are guided by. And Acts chapter 7, verse 48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as says the prophet. So where we learning these false doctrines that abolish the thing that the Most High has ordained, and the inheritance that He has given us, that promise, they're trying to destroy it in these buildings with with giving us a fleshly king over us, and they try to stop the mouth of them that confess thee by saying that we're liars and they have the truth. But verse 51, ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the separated body, as your fathers did, so do ye. So we know it's nothing new under the sun. So let's go back to additions to Esther, chapter 5, verse 13. And this is what we should be asking, desiring from the spirit and not from that fleshly king. Give me eloquent speech in my mouth before the lion. Turn his heart to hate him that fighteth against us, that there may be an end of him, and of all that are like-minded to him. But deliver us with thine hand, and help me that am desolate, and which have no other help but thee. Verse 18. Neither had thine handmaid any joy since the day that I was brought hither to this present, but in thee, O Creator, thy God of Abraham. So our joy shouldn't be in the flesh, but of the spirit. That should be our hope and our faith. Verse 19, O thou mighty Yahweh above all, hear the voice of the forlorn and deliver us out of the hands of out of the powers of the mischievous, and deliver me out of my fear, out of my desires. James chapter 5, verse 5 and 19 through 20. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. Verse 19. Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth, and one convert him, let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death, and shall hide a multitude of sins. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, verse 13, and verse 20. The Creator knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment of teachers and doctrines to be punished. Verse 13, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to ride in the daytime. Spots they are and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings, while they feast with you. Verse 20, for if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world, through the knowledge of the Creator and Savior, salvation the Anointed One, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. So we must not fall back like the sons of perdition into the the traps and snares of this world, of this life. But we must keep our faith and hope and promise unto the life to come, which is spiritual and not fleshly. First Maccabees chapter 1, 11 through 13, 15, 25 through 26, and 28 through 30. In those days, when there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, having a fleshly desire, those fleshly eyes, that fleshly understanding. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. And they didn't have that almighty word within them, because if they did, they would know where the joy would come from. Verse 12, so this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, that fleshly king again, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised. So they was all fleshly. They didn't cut off the flesh of their knowledge, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Verse 25, therefore there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Verse 28, the land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. Verse 29, and after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. So we must take heed to those warnings in that story of our forefathers that fell to the flesh and was deceived by the flesh, deceived by their own desires and the vanities of their heart. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1 through 2, 10, 12, and 14 through 15. And we always must understand there's a mixed multitude. Some believers in faith and some that are temporarily here to learn, but not with their whole heart. They still double-minded. They still have desires of the flesh, and they still haven't circumcised that heart. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Creator that bought them, and bring up themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. Verse 10, but chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government, presumptuous are they, self-willed, they are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Verse 12, but these as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. 14, having eyes, understandings full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, and heart that have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children. And this is what happened in Maccabees, which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Bozar, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. Psalms chapter 82, verse 2, 5, and 8. How long will you judge, teach unjustly, and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. So he want us to meditate on that, because it's been a long time coming with these unjustly teachers and persons of and accepting the persons of the wicked, because you perceive them to to be all that in a bag of chips. You think they they all that, like, because you're looking at the flesh. They're white sepulchres on the outside, but inside they're full of dead man bones. Verse 5, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. And this is because of us, because there's no knowledge and no understanding going forth out of Israel. We've all been walking in darkness. That's why we are called black. We are desolate of the truth. We don't know who God, our guide, is. We have not the eyes to see or the ears to hear what Jehovah is trying to convey to us through His word, through the word that the prophets, the mouthpieces of Yahweh, are speaking to the people. Arise, O Yahweh, judge, teach the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. Many are called, but few are chosen. Hosea chapter 4, verse 1 through 3, 6 through 9, 12, and 16. And this is why all the foundations of the earth are out of course. Hear the word of the Spirit of God, ye children of Israel, for the Spirit of God hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, there is no spiritual understanding, no spiritual way of living, nor mercy, nor knowledge of Yahweh in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, those works of the flesh, they break out, in blood touch of blood, life touch of life, cousin killing cousin. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish. And then we just see that in the Maccabees. Um, yes, it says right here in First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 26. So that the princes and the elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Therefore there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were, because why they joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. And once we sold ourselves to mischief, he had a controversy with us, because there is no truth, no mercy, nor knowledge of God, of Yahweh in the land. And all these works of the flesh are committed. And for that reason shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, those natural brute beasts, and with the fowls of heaven, yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Verse 6 of Hosea chapter 4. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy guide. I will also forget thy children. And this is what we should be doing to these false prophets and these false teachers that teach false doctrines. We should be forgetting them instead of acknowledging them and and accepting the persons of the wicked. Verse 7. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity. And there shall be like people, like priests, and I will punish them for their ways and reward them their doings. Verse 12. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declare unto them. For the spirit of whoredoms hath caused them to err, and they have gone a whoring from under their God. Verse 16. For Israel slideth back as a backsliding heifer. Now the Spirit of God will feed them as a lamb in a large place. Jeremiah chapter 22, 20 through 22, and 25 through 29. Go up to Lebanon and cry, and lift up thy voice in Bashan, and cry from the passages. For all thy lovers are destroyed. I spake unto thee in thy prosperity, but thou sayest, I will not hear. This has been thy manner from thy youth, that thou obeyest not my voice. The wind shall eat up all thy pastors, and thy lovers shall go into captivity. Surely then shalt thou be ashamed and confounded for all thy wickedness. Verse 25. And I will give thee into the hand of them that seek thy life, and into the hand of them whose face thou fearest, even unto the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and into the hand of the Chaldeans. And I will cast thee out, and thy mother that bare thee into another country, where ye were not born, and there shall ye die. But to the land whereunto unto they desire to return, thither shall they not return. Is this man Coniah a despised broken idol? Is he a vessel wherein is no pleasure? Wherefore are they cast out, he and his seed, and are cast into a land which they know not? O earth, 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 hear the word of the Spirit of God. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 14. For Yahweh shall bring every work into teachings and doctrines, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 7. Trust in the Spirit of God with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes, in thine own understanding. Fear the Spirit of God, and depart from evil. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 12 through 15. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, Return, thou backsliding Israel, says the Spirit of God, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful, says the Spirit of God, and I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Spirit of God thy guide, and hast scattered thy ways to strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, says the Spirit of God. Turn, O backsliding children, says the Spirit of God, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Let's go to Ezra chapter 9, 6 through 15. So he says, Go and proclaim these words, and said, O my God, I am ashamed and blush to lift up my face, my understanding to thee, my God. For our iniquities are increased over our head, and our trespasses grown up into the heavens. Since the days of our fathers have we been in a great trespass unto this day, and for our iniquities have we, our kings and our priests, been delivered into the hand of the kings of the lands, to the sword, to captivity, and to a spoil, and to confusion of face, as it is this day. And now for a little space, grace has been shown from the Spirit of God our guide, to leave us a remnant to escape, and to give us a nail in his holy place, that our guide may lighten our eyes, give us understanding, and give us a little reviving in our bondage. For we were bondmen, yet our guide hath forsaken us, hath not forsaken us in our bondage, but hath extended mercy unto us in the sight of the kings of Persia, to give us a reviving, to set up the house of our God, and to repair the desolations thereof, and to give us a wall in Judah and in Jerusalem. And now, O our God, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken thy commandments, which thou hast commanded by thy servants the prophets, saying, The land unto which you go to possess it, it is an unclean land with the filthiness of the people of the lands, with their abominations, which have filled it from one end to another with their uncleanness. Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and eat and learn the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. And after all that is come upon us for our evil deeds and for our great trespass, seeing that thou, our guide, hast punished us less than our iniquities deserve, and hast given us such deliverance as this, should we again break thy commandments and join in infinity with the people of these abominations? Wouldst not thou be angry with us till thou hast consumed us, so that there should be no remnant nor escaping? But some still do, even though we see this in scripture. Those liars and those the deceivers that teach in those buildings will not show you these. They will not tell you that you must confess your iniquities. You are acknowledge your iniquities, your faults, or your deeds against the Most High, those fleshly works. O Spirit of God, thy guide of Israel, thou art righteous, thou perfection and beauty righteous. For we remain yet escaped, as it is this day. Behold, we are before thee in our trespasses, for we cannot stand before thee because of this, because of the flesh, because of our pride, because of our transgressions, the forgetfulness of the spirit. But we want to keep building up the flesh. This is why we cannot stand before him, because we will be destroyed for that lack of knowledge, because we don't know who we even standing before. Romans chapter 8, verse 5 through 8. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace, because the carnal mind is enmity against Yahweh, for it is not subject, it is not a obedient servant to the law, to the covenant, the promise of Yahweh. Neither indeed can be, because two can walk together unless they agree. And the agreement is whatever he says we will do. But if you're carnal minded, you won't do the things of Yahweh, because you are not subject to the law. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Yahweh. Those that are asking you, where are your fringes? Those that are putting on these outfits, costumes, put on jewelry, crosses, stars to represent who they are. That's all flesh being puffed up in pride. But we must understand that the spirit within us is what is going to show and prove that we are the sons, the servants of Jehovah, because those words are going to separate us, and those words are spirit, and those words are life. Mm. Mm. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 15, 47 through 47 and 50. And we must renew our minds in the spirit and cut off that fleshly man that was made of the dust of the ground. But we must conform to that image, that spiritual image of our creator that we must represent. The first man is of the earth, earthly. The second man is the creator from heaven. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. 1 Corinthians 15, let's go down to 52, 53, 52 through 53 and 58. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, of an understanding, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So we must understand what we're learning and who we're learning from, because everyone doesn't teach how to put away that corruptible man, but they'll tell you he will accept you for how you come, or they'll ask you who your father is, which is that corruptible man, and they'll judge you off the words that you say that are fleshly, instead of discerning the spirits to you and giving you that knowledge of spirit, that we must come back to the spirit and change that fleshly ways into a spiritual way of living, and that we are prospects of Israel, and we don't know what tribe we are actually from, because that is a knowledge that is lost. That is a knowledge that has been put away from us because of our corruption, because of our disobedience. He's trying to prove us to see if we will come back and learn who we are as a people, as a nation. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable. Verse 58, I'm sorry. Be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Creator, which is the works of the Spirit. For as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Creator. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 44 through 45. For I am the Spirit of God your guide. Ye shall therefore sanctify, separate yourselves, and ye shall be holy, separated. For I am separated. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Verse 45. For I am the Spirit of God that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt, to be your guide. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. John chapter 15, verse 3 through 6. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye except ye abide in me, in that spirit, not in the flesh of Jesus, because we know the flesh of Jesus is expired. He is went from dust to the dust. So the only thing we can abide in is the Spirit, that Holy Spirit, that separated body. That's why he says, you should therefore be holy, for I am holy, in Leviticus chapter 11 and 45. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit, the works of the Spirit. For without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, because when you cut off from the source, you're nothing more than a dry branch. You're gonna wither in the sun through time, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. And this is the last script for the night. Philippians chapter 3, verse 3, verse 7 through 16, and 18 through 21. For we are the circumcision, those that have cut off the flesh and follow after the spirit, which worship Yahweh in the spirit, and rejoice in the anointed way of salvation, and have no confidence in the flesh, a true Jew, which is one inwardly and not outwardly. But what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for the anointed way. Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of the anointed way of salvation, my Creator, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win the anointed one. So all things that are fleshly is nothing compared to the spirit, which will benefit us and build us up to be that servant that is that can be received with grace, through the grace and mercy. Verse 9, and be found in him, not having mine own righteousness, which is of the law, but that which is through the faith of the anointed one, the righteousness which is of Yahweh by faith, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection, and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death, if by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead, not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehended of the anointed one of salvation. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before, I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yahweh, of Jehovah, of I'm sorry, of the guide in the anointed way of salvation. Let us therefore, as many as be perfect, be thus minded, and if in anything ye be otherwise minded, Yahweh shall reveal even this unto you. Nevertheless, whereto we have already attained, let us walk by the same rule. Let us mind the same thing. Verse 18, for many walk, of whom I have told you often, and now tell you even weeping, that they are the enemies of the suffering of death of the anointed way, whose end is destruction, whose guide is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. For our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Creator, salvation, the Anointed One, who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. And this is the end of the teaching. Flesh or spirit, choose one. And we always remember we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, but we must be in that spirit. We must understand the spirit and know the works of the spirit so that we can discern good from evil. And he can work in our bodies and be that guide for us until the end. And I hope someone got an understanding. And if you have any questions, you can email me, deforestsmith@gmail.com. And I would like to say to everyone, shalom.